Welcome to Sports Bios, the podcast where we delve into the fascinating lives of athletic icons, and I'm your host, Howard Closewell. Today, we're going to explore the extraordinary life of Billie Jean King, a tennis legend who not only dominated the courts, but also shattered glass ceilings and paved the way for future generations of women in sports. As we embark on this biographical journey, get ready to witness the transformation of a young girl from Long Beach, California, into a global phenomenon. Born on November 22, 1943, Billie Jean Moffat, as she was known then, entered a world on the cusp of great change. The United States was still reeling from the aftermath of World War II, and the social fabric of the country was about to undergo a seismic shift. Her parents, Bill and Betty Moffat, were a quintessential American couple, with her father working as a firefighter and her mother as a homemaker. The Moffats were a sports-loving family, and Billie Jean's older brother Randy would later become a professional baseball player. As we step into the Moffat household, we're immersed in an era of post-war optimism, where the notion of the American dream was still within reach for many families. The smell of freshly cut grass and the sound of children playing in the neighborhood filled the air, as Billie Jean grew up in a modest household with a strong emphasis on sports. Her parents encouraged her to take up tennis at the age of 11, gifting her a hand-me-down racket from her brother, which would become an extension of herself as she practiced her swings in the backyard, dreaming of one day becoming a champion. The Moffats' neighborhood was filled with kids who shared a passion for sports, and Billie Jean's competitive spirit was fostered through countless hours of playing softball, basketball, and, of course, tennis. The sound of laughter, shouts of excitement, and the occasional argument over a disputed call created a cacophony that echoed through the streets as young Billie Jean honed her skills and developed a fierce determination to succeed. As we examine the formative years of Billie Jean King, it's essential to consider the historical context in which she grew up. The 1950s were a time of great social conformity, with rigid expectations placed on women and girls. The notion of a female athlete as a role model was virtually non-existent, and women's sports were often relegated to the sidelines. Yet, Billie Jean's parents instilled in her a sense of self-confidence and determination that would serve her well in her future endeavors. One of the most significant influences on young Billie Jean was her coach, Clyde Walker, who recognized her prodigious talent and encouraged her to develop her skills. Under Walker's guidance, Billie Jean began competing in local and national junior tournaments, where she quickly made a name for herself as a fierce and talented young player. Her early successes on the court were not without their challenges, however. Billie Jean struggled with self-doubt and anxiety, often feeling overwhelmed by the pressure to perform. The seeds of her future greatness were sown in these formative years, as she learned to balance her passion for tennis with the demands of being a young woman in a patriarchal society. In the sweltering summer of 1959, 15-year-old Billie Jean King competed in her first major tournament, the Southern California Junior Championships. This event would mark a turning point in her young career, as she began to make a name for herself in the tennis world and attract attention from coaches, sponsors, and fans. As Billie Jean stepped onto the court, the sound of the ball bouncing on the racket, the smell of freshly painted lines, and the feeling of the warm sun on her skin created an intoxicating cocktail that would fuel her passion for tennis. The crowd's anticipation was palpable as she faced off against her opponents, her determination and focus evident in every shot, every volley, and every triumphant cry. As Billie Jean King's star continued its meteoric rise in the tennis world, she found herself at the vanguard of a revolution that would irrevocably alter the landscape of women's sports. The year 1966 marked a watershed moment in her career as she won her first Wimbledon singles title, defeating Maria Bueno in a thrilling final that would be etched in the annals of tennis history. This victory not only cemented her status as a tennis superstar, but also paved the way for future generations of female athletes to shatter the glass ceiling and claim their rightful place among the sporting elite. The late 1960s and early 1970s were a time of great social upheaval, with the women's liberation movement gaining momentum like a juggernaut. Billie Jean King, with her unwavering dedication to her craft, and her unapologetic femininity became an icon of female empowerment, inspiring countless women to challenge the patriarchal norms that had long constrained them. Her on-court successes were matched by her off-court activism, as she fought tirelessly for equal pay and opportunities for women in sports, refusing to be silenced or intimidated by the entrenched interests that sought to maintain the status quo. One of the most significant events in Billie Jean King's career was her historic match against Bobby Riggs, a self-proclaimed male chauvinist who claimed that men were superior to women in tennis. The Battle of the Sexes took place on September 20, 1973, at the Houston Astrodome, with Billie Jean King emerging victorious in straight sets. Her triumph a powerful rebuke to the misogynistic attitudes that had long plagued women's sports. This was more than just a sporting victory. It was a seismic cultural shift, one that would resonate far beyond the tennis world and inspire a new generation of women to demand equality and respect. It was a moment that would be forever etched in the collective memory, a reminder that even the most seemingly insurmountable obstacles can be overcome with courage, conviction, and an unwavering commitment to one's principles. The year 1972 was a particularly significant one for Billie Jean King, as she won her first U.S. Open singles title and became the first woman to win $100,000 in prize money. This achievement marked a major milestone in the struggle for equal pay in sports, with Billie Jean King using her platform to advocate for greater financial rewards for female athletes. It was a clarion call to action, one that would inspire countless women to demand fair compensation for their talents and challenge the entrenched gender disparities that had long characterized the sporting world. As the 1970s progressed, Billie Jean King continued to dominate the tennis world, winning numerous titles and setting new standards for women's sports. Her influence extended far beyond the court, however, as she became a cultural icon and a symbol of female empowerment, inspiring countless women to pursue their passions and challenge the status quo. The summer of 1973 was a particularly memorable one for Billie Jean King, as she competed in the Federation Cup, leading the U.S. team to victory against Australia. This triumph marked her fifth Federation Cup title and cemented her reputation as one of the greatest tennis players of all time. As she stood on the court holding the trophy aloft and basking in the adoration of the crowd, Billie Jean King knew that she had truly earned her place in the pantheon of sports legends. As I look back on that momentous occasion, I am reminded of the words of Billie Jean King herself, who once observed that, "I wanted to be a champion and I wanted to make a difference." Through her remarkable achievements and unrelenting activism, Billie Jean King has left an indelible mark on the world of sports and beyond. Her legacy serves as a reminder that even the most seemingly insurmountable obstacles can be overcome with courage, conviction, and the unwavering commitment to one's principles. As the years went by, Billie Jean King continued to push the boundaries of what was possible for women in sports. Her tireless advocacy for equal pay, her unwavering commitment to feminism, and her unrelenting passion for tennis inspired a new generation of female athletes to follow in her footsteps. Her story serves as a reminder that even the most seemingly insurmountable obstacles can be overcome with courage, conviction, and an unwavering commitment to one's principles. It is here, in the twilight of her playing career, that King's unwavering commitment to justice and equality would ultimately cement her legacy as a trailblazer, not merely in the world of tennis, but in the broader tapestry of human rights. In 1990, as she stood on the precipice of induction into the International Tennis Hall of Fame, King's mind was not solely focused on the accolades that were about to be bestowed upon her. Rather, she was acutely aware of the profound impact that her platform could have in shaping the discourse around social justice and equality. It was a moment of great reflection, one that would serve as a catalyst for the next chapter in her life's work. As I recall my conversations with King during this period, it became evident that her passion for advocacy was not merely a byproduct of her athletic success, but an integral part of her being. She spoke with unbridled conviction about the need for greater equality in sports and the importance of using one's platform to challenge the status quo. It was a clarion call to action, one that would resonate deeply with countless individuals around the world. The year 2009 marked a watershed moment in King's life, as she was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom by President Barack Obama. As she accepted the award, her words echoed with a sense of purpose and conviction. "I've always believed that sports can be a powerful tool for social change, and I've been fortunate enough to be a part of that movement." It is here that we find ourselves pondering a profound question. What is it about King's character that has allowed her to transcend the boundaries of athletic achievement, to become an icon of social justice and equality? Is it her unwavering commitment to her values, or her unshakable confidence in the face of adversity? In her later years, King's involvement in tennis may have been more limited, but her impact on the sport remained undeniable. The renaming of the National Tennis Center in New York City to the USTA Billie Jean King National Tennis Center in 2014 served as a poignant reminder of her enduring legacy. It was a fitting tribute, one that would ensure that future generations of players and fans alike would be inspired by her courage, conviction, and unwavering commitment to justice. She has always been a champion of the underdog, a vocal advocate for women's rights, LGBTQ+ rights, and equality in sports. Her message has resonated with countless individuals around the world, inspiring them to challenge the systems of power that have long perpetuated inequality. Her legacy extends far beyond her impressive list of tennis titles, speaking to something deeper and more profound. As we strive to create a more just and equitable world, we would do well to remember the lessons of Billie Jean King, a true pioneer and champion of human rights. How will you use your platform, your voice, and your actions to challenge the status quo and create a more just and equitable society? The answer, much like King's legacy, is waiting to be written. That's all for today's Sports Bios. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, I'm Howard Closewell, reminding you to keep shooting for your goals.